What's going on, Bills Mafia? You're watching the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Tyler Smith, coming at you from my apartment today because we just got some pretty great news on the signal caller up in Buffalo. 17 looks like he's going to be ready to go for Week 18 against the New York Jets. Josh Allen is off the injury report. That is awesome to hear, but how much will he actually play in the final game in Highmark Stadium? We're going to break that down, as well as some other Bills injury news that you need to know before the final game of the regular season. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We upload Bills content all the time, whether we're in studio with all the graphics or I got to bring you guys an at-home video like this. We're bringing you guys Bills content when you need to hear it. We'll also be live for Bills game in Week 18 against the Jets, so join us then. Turn notifications on so you never miss a moment surrounding your Buffalo Bills. Okay, so Josh Allen is off of the injury report. This is awesome news, man. The foot injury that he suffered in Week 16 against the Browns right before the half, took a sack right before the goal line, and it was a dangerous play all around. It ended up affecting Josh Allen. As much as he likes to say that it didn't in the post game against Cleveland, he said it didn't hurt him all in the second half, affect his play at all. In the Eagles game, he said he felt good. The foot did not hamper him, but I think that we can all agree that he looked a bit hobbled, especially in that Philadelphia game. And I think if Josh Allen is 110% healthy, he makes that throw to Khalil Shakir on the two-point conversion and beats Philadelphia in that one. He tried to play it off like it didn't affect him, but it clearly did. He was just a bit off, and he was probably trying to overcompensate a little bit. But it seems like it's better now, at least. He didn't practice on Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday being a walkthrough practice for Buffalo. As the later weeks in the season have kind of come along, they've been taking it a little easier with their first day of practice during the week. So Josh wasn't a part of either one of those 2 days, and then was limited on Friday. Again, he's a guy that you don't need to have full practice reps for the week to be ready for a game. He knows this thing like the back of his hand, and if he had to go out there with absolutely no practice, I'm sure he could do it and still put up a pretty good fight. Sean McDermott came out and said Josh Allen is quote-unquote good to go. Good to go. So he's at least going to be able to suit up for this Week 18 game. The question is, how much will Josh Allen actually play? This is something that I'm sure a lot of people care about. I'm sure Josh Allen himself cares about. He has the current longest active starting streak in all of the National Football League at 134 games consecutively started. That includes the playoffs. And that's the type of streak that you want to keep going. He did it last year in Week 18, took the one snap, and then didn't play the rest of the game. So I think that's certainly a possibility again. I don't think the Bills care too much about the wild card seeding that they end up getting after this. They could lose to or beat anybody in the AFC. As long as you have 17 back there healthy, I think you guys, the Bills can go out there and run the table. There's just no doubt in my mind that Josh Allen can go head-to-head with anybody in front of him and come out victorious. Look, the last thing you want to do, though, is get him hurt. And even more so than that, the last thing you want to do is risk him getting hurt. This game is unnecessary. The Bills cannot win the AFC East anymore. That's out of the equation. So what is the point when you're talking about going to Jacksonville versus going to Foxborough? You already went to Foxborough and beat the Patriots. The Jaguars can't be too ferocious or too fear-inducing for you not to want to go and play there and lose this game outright. So I don't really think it matters, win or loss, what happens this weekend for the Buffalo Bills. And that is why Josh should just go out there, hand it off to James Cook on the first play of the game, and then walk off. You're not padding your stats to win MVP this year. It's just not going to happen with how he's kind of played over the last few weeks. The Bills haven't been winning in spite of Josh Allen, but the statistics just haven't been MVP-level numbers over about the last month or so. And look, man, Mitch Trubisky, with Josh Allen not practicing on Wednesday or Thursday, Mitch had a ton of work with the ones, and I think it's a good segue to say that the Bills are probably going to play the rest of their starters for at least more than one play in this game. It could be for a quarter. It could be for a half. It could just be for the opening two series that each the offense and the defense are on the field for. But I'm confident that Mitch Trubisky can go out there and call a good game when he's already been playing with the starters leading up to this week's matchup. And like I said, it looks like other starters are going to play. Again, though, how long is the question? Because with the Bills injury report that came out on Friday, it just seems like Buffalo is going to be playing most of their ones. Like, you had Cam Lewis with a hamstring injury. He was a full participant on Friday. Dawson Knox, he was on the injury report with a knee injury. He was a full participant on Friday. So it looks like both those guys are going to be able to go. James Cook had a vet rest day early on in the week, and then he was a full participant on Friday as well. So it looks like James Cook, one of your better players on offense, is going to play. Reggie Gilliam has been dealing with an illness. AJ Epinesa dealing with an illness. illness. Gilliam ended up coming back and being a full participant on Thursday and Friday. Epinesa ended up being a full participant and has no designation for this week. Trey White as well. He no longer has a designation. He was dealing with an illness of some sort. This could also be them just feeling a bit under the weather and just not wanting to take any crazy risks in a week that really just doesn't matter at the end of the day. And that's why we saw De'Aaron Walker, who has no injury designation at this point. He missed Friday's practice with an illness. He has been absolutely balling out, though. Big shout out to De'Aaron Walker, man. This Bills defense wouldn't be looking as good as it has over the past few weeks if De'Aaron Walker was not playing at the level that he currently is, disrupting a lot on the interior of that defensive line. Some limited guys who are also questionable in this game. Joey Bosa with a hamstring. Personally, if the names that are out this week that we've already heard, we'll get to it in a moment, are going to be out, then what are we doing having Joey Bosa suit up for this game? The priority for Joey Bosa when you signed him, and Bills coaching staff, the front office, they all made this very clear, is that they want him to be 100% healthy for the postseason. That's why they tried to at least limit his snap count percentages early on in the season so that he would have the tread left on the tires to go out there and be the beast that he has been when the games matter a little bit more in the playoffs. So I would hold out Joey Bosa this week, especially with a hamstring, something that you can easily re-aggravate and have get worse when you're going to turn around and play a playoff game just 7 days later. It makes no sense at all to have Joey Bosa out there this week. I would hold him out. And at this point, like, if you didn't have Dalton Kincaid out there in Week 17, then why are you going to have him out there in Week 18? He's still dealing with a knee injury, and you want to talk about guys who you can't lose for the postseason? I don't think the Bills can win the Super Bowl if Dalton Kincaid is not on the field. We saw how limited the offense was without him out there against Philadelphia, and anytime that he's really not been on the field, the Bills' offense just look completely different. They put up like 8 less points per game when he's on the field versus when he's not. He is a efficiency demon. His yards per route run and all the just efficiency metrics jump off the page in terms of Dalton Kincaid. He's always that outlier, that anomaly at the top of those lists and graphs that you've been seeing all season long. It's just crazy that they don't get him on the field enough to where he can elevate this offense even more. Part of it's his fault, though. He can't stay on the field with the injuries that he's been dealing with. He had the hamstring. He had the he had the knee injury. He had the oblique. Like, it is just a bunch of stuff that keeps stacking up for Dalton Kincaid. So I would just keep him on ice one more week here, because again, what is the risk of bringing him in Week 18 when you didn't have him back in a way more high pressure situation in Week 17 against Philly? Terrell Bernard was ruled out of this game. He has a calf injury that he got popped up. I'm not sure if it was the beginning of last game or was he ruled out for last game? I forget. But regardless, the Terrell Bernard stuff is super weird, man. He's wearing the captain patch. He just got a big contract extension, but he's being thoroughly outplayed right now by Shaq Thompson. And the way that Shaq is filling up the gaps in the run game and tackling in the open field, just two things that Terrell Bernard hasn't been particularly great at this season. I'm not the most upset that, we're out Terrell Bernard, but we have Shaq Thompson. Like, we should be fine still at the off-ball backer spot. I don't anticipate really many of these guys to be playing far into the second half. I would hope the Bills have a 2-score lead at least by the halftime break. And if you don't, I just trust Mitch Trubisky to go out there and beat the Jets. Like, if you care a lot about winning this game, and I think they should. It is the last game in Highmark Stadium. We got fans coming out and shoveling the bleachers and the stadium to get it clean and ready to go for the final game in that building. But again, health is just the bigger priority. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Lamar Jackson potentially. It might be Lamar Jackson in the playoffs this year. But so this is the time to strike. This is it for Buffalo. Like, they can't leave any stone left unturned. And there's a chance that could happen if they overplay these guys and play them longer than they need to. You just don't want to risk injury whatsoever. Also ruled out for this game, Jordan Poyer with a hamstring and Daquan Jones with a calf. Poyer specifically, he's 35 years old. Why would we even think about throwing him out there for this game? None of those three guys, Poyer, Jones, or Bernard, have all practiced this week at all. So it was all kind of assumed at the beginning of this week that they would not be able to go. So that's unfortunate there for Buffalo. But again, if these starters are playing into the fourth quarter, we got issues if you're not up on Brady Cook by multiple scores at that point. Speaking of, if that happens, because I assume, let's just talk some playoff stuff before we get out of here on today's show. It's looking like the Texans are going to beat the Colts. I don't anticipate, with how hot they have been, that Houston's going to go lose to 42-year-old Phillip Rivers. Is he even playing this week? Don't they have don't they have an injury or something like that? Isn't Riley Leonard playing this week for the Colts? If he is, oh my goodness, it is over for Indianapolis. What a collapse that they had, and Texans will be moving on and probably coming up short in that AFC South division because the Jaguars are going to be playing the Tennessee Titans this week. It would be a game that the Jags lose. It would be a game that they fall in, but I think they're going to be a good and end up winning that division. The Broncos, I believe, are going to win as well because of all the starters that are not playing on the other side. For the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert's not playing. Amarian Hampton was just ruled out. They're starting running back, so it feels like they're taking even bigger precautions than the Bills are this week in terms of playing their starters, and the Broncos still want that number 1 overall seed. So they're playing for something. The the Chargers are playing for nothing. Looks like Denver's going to win that one. Patriots, kind of same thing. They're trying to see if they can win the division, and they're playing the Dolphins with Quinn Ewers. Don't think that New England is going to lose that game. To Quinn Ewers. He's just not a good quarterback, to be honest with you guys. Can't believe that they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. What a collapse from them as well. The Jags, they're going to win, I think. I thought the Titans were going to win last week against a really hot Saints team, and they still couldn't pull that out. They were up like 8 points and maybe even 2 scores in that game, and they couldn't pull it out. So the Jags, they've been firing all cylinders over the past really the whole season. They've been pretty consistent the entire year, so I don't anticipate them dropping that one. So if all that happens, Texans win, Broncos win, Patriots win, and Jags win, the Bills have 2 scenarios. They could either be going to New England or they could be going to Jacksonville. If they win, if they beat the Jets this week, they would be going to Jacksonville. I think I have this all right. I've mapped it out in my head. It doesn't seem that complicated to figure out at this point, but the Bills will be going to Jacksonville with a win this week, and obviously all those other teams winning as well, because the Chargers would lose in that scenario too. A loss would put them in New England. They would remain in the 7th seed, and if the Broncos and the Patriots win, that's your 1 and 2. 7 would be going 2-2, and the Bills would get a rematch, a third meeting with New England in Foxborough where they won earlier. So with that being said, it's really just 2 teams that the Bills could match up with in this postseason first round. Who would you rather play? Jacksonville or New England? Give me a JAC in the comments section if you'd rather play the Jaguars, or give me an NE down below if you'd rather play the Patriots. And on your way out, make sure you go down below, as I can't speak anymore. We're getting later in this video. Hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video, and make sure you're subscribed as well to never miss a thing on your Buffalo Bills all season long and into the postseason as well. The coverage doesn't stop here. We'll see you guys next time, and as always, let's go Buffalo.